Hello, everybody. Simon Thomas with Giants Podcast. I'm super excited to be here. David Wachler, he is fourth generation jeweler, location in downtown Birmingham. But honestly, before we got the podcast going, we spent a half hour talking, and there was unbelievable content. So I'm super excited to get into this. You're an unbelievable storyteller, as I can see.
Thank you.
John, you want to start this off?
We typically kick it off with a quote, and this one is better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. Do you know who said that?
Who said it?
Confucius.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That just shows how old the industry is, right? What was that, like 3,000 years, 2,000 years ago?
Right.
Long time. Maybe 1,000 years. I'm not 100% sure.
No, I have to check my history.
We have to brush up on the history. The reason why is because we live in the present moment, because that's all we really have.
Live in the present.
Yeah. So that's a quote to hop on your quote.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sort of is the follow-up question. How do you respond to that? You know, you live in the present moment.
Yep.
But as it pertains to the business, the jewelry business, diamonds, what does that mean?
It's funny because everybody hears something and thinks differently, right? So when you said that, the first thing in my mind was like, look, I don't have the fanciest, newest store. We're redoing the front of our building soon, but we got like a building that couldn't find anyone to fix the piece of wood. It's like falling apart. I got old showcases that I bought from Lucido. I don't have like a top of the line environment as far as like how much I've invested into the materials, because what I try to invest in is like the actual products, the design, the customers, the relationships, and servicing. And you have to make a choice in business. Like for me, I have a low margin business. So I look at my family and said, hey, can we upgrade this store to be what I want it to be? And they're like, look, like we could, but also you made over 1,000 engagement rings that sometimes need service. And do you want to charge those people for service? And I go, no, I tell my customers it's free for life. It's like, you buy something from me, forget about it. I'll take care of it forever. Well, when you have 1,000 customers plus, and people aren't playing tennis in their ring, they're doing Pilates in their ring, they're destroying their stuff in the gym, even though it could be their fault in certain times, I want to invest my money in that way. And so I had to learn, like, look, I had a friend come in, he goes, David, why don't you redo this place? I go, look, we're an old family business. I'm taking care of my customers. I'm flying to this place. I'm taking care of people in this state, that state. I have people in those offices there. I go, right now, I just need to focus on the people and what I'm doing for them. And believe me, it'll get to a point where my environment doesn't have so many flaws, but I want to focus on what I need to focus on, because I think in business, you have to prioritize. And some people want to prioritize from the outside in, but what I try to focus on as far as the flaws goes is control what flaws are present and make sure that they're not affecting your core business growth and how you're treating people, right? Because no one can be perfect. So you have to say to yourself, like, am I going to go get the new car so that I can look like somebody says, David, you're an 11-year-old car. What are you doing? You're dealing with these $100,000 rings all the time. What are you doing? I said, my customer doesn't care. Trust me. They'd rather me make less on the sale and, not worry about it. He goes, yeah, but you have to show. I go, no, you don't. You don't have to show. You're twisted. You think you have to look like this top diamond, but you don't. Do what you need to do to get where you need to be and get that stuff later. So that quote is like personally speaking to me, like, you need to yesterday I'm talking to my staff, like, we need to upgrade this, we need to updo this. And then of course the phones start ringing and it's like, forget about that, dude. You got to do 30, 40 different things for people. So that quote makes me think of like all the business people out there who are like, shit, I'm going to this meeting and I'm in a Chevy. It's like, great. Awesome. Your customer will realize that that's not the first thing that you think about, and don't worry about it, So I think that's more about, to me, my own like balance with like, am I going to be like the Birmingham guy with the newest everything, or I'm going to be true to myself and like take care of what I need to take care of, and you can check out the ring, It's that's what it means to me.
I think it's a great message.
Yeah, it is a great message, especially to the next gen of, I think as the next, you see these younger kids, they think they need to have all this nice stuff, right?
Sure.
And the fact that you're investing in the relationship versus the car or the building,
It'll come, though. It'll come.
It will come. You
have to look at the order of operations, right?
Yeah, you want nice things, but you'll never
Right.
get those things if you don't handle business first.
Right.
It made me think of we had a nanny that helped us out when we started having kids. We have 4 kids, and they all kind of came quickly, and we had a lady that helped us out, and she was an unbelievable woman, and she brought her daughter over, and it was like 8 years old, and this girl was amazing, and we're like, what'd you do? She goes, handle your business. That's my model. That's my what I tell my daughter. Like she gets home, she can't do anything until she does her homework. Like until she does her ABCs. Until handle your business, and everything else follows. But I was thinking of her when you were talking about.
It's funny how we think of these things, right?
It is.
We live
It's
in
great.
a society of instant gratification,
Right.
And there's a lack of discipline.
Exactly.
And focus on the things that are really, really important. And I mean, even from our conversation before we got started, you focus on relationships. And I imagine, I mean, you have a family business near a century old, not as old as Confucius, but still old. But there's got to be these principles that you learned from over the years, or ones that you're instilling that may have not been there. Tell us a little bit about that.
So my family business started in the early 1900s, and this story is an emotional story, and I want to share it with you guys, and I think it could be good to share it on the pod. My great-grandfather was in Cologne, Germany. He came from Poland. He was in Cologne, Germany after the First War, and I think he got captured by the Germans. He ended up over there, and he met a German woman who became my great-great-grandmother, great-grandmother. But what he did is when he was a young man, his job was to carry an ice bucket to people from the place where they had ice. So back in the day, you didn't have a freezer. And so one day, he was carrying his ice bucket, and the hot day had melted the ice, and the client of the ice bucket was so upset that he hit my great-great-grandfather with the ice bucket that was rusty, and that ended up killing him. And so it's interesting that I'm in dealing with people in sales and deal with a lot of really grateful customers, but also every once in a while we have some customers that aren't as gracious, and we try to do everything we can to work on that with them. But sometimes you just can't make someone happy because something's going on inside them. And it's very rare, but it does happen, as you guys know, in your industry. And so the ironic and sad part is that we really got started, my great-grandfather got started from a tragedy, from an ungrateful customer. He then worked for a jeweler in Germany, in Cologne, Germany, and the jeweler passes away, and he didn't have any family, and he leaves the store to, it's really like a little repair business kind of thing. He leaves it to David Wachler back in 1914 or 15 or something like that. And then his friend, David said, I'm going to move to America. I'm going to take my wife and move to America. His partner stayed and unfortunately was killed by the Nazis. But when he moved to America, he was just a tradesman, and he worked for a gentleman named Sidney Crandall, who had a 100-year-old business that when he retired, his grandson gave us all the rest of his jewelry, which we sold for him, which, by the way, when we restarted our business and started from not very much again, we were able to fill our showcases with the same family's jewelry that my great-grandfather had worked for 100 years prior.
Wow.
So the story continues. In Detroit, they were in the Metropolitan Building. Then they started a business of their own. James Cousins and Vassar, they actually ended up also in Southfield. They had a store in the Renaissance Center where my mom was a security guard, my dad was a jeweler, and that's how I became a person. So the story then continues into Birmingham. In 1985, we bought the building from Lakes. My great-grandfather, who they called the Duke, he dressed like a Don. He was a kind man. He would talk to the waitress, to the waiter, to the busboy. He would tip everyone big. He was the sweetest person ever. He never had any conflicts with anyone. And after about 90 years, the partners in my family business could not work together, and it got very difficult. And my dad, my mom, and myself left, and we ended up and my grandfather, Zadie, Jeff, may he rest in peace, and my uncle. My dad, my mom, myself, we ended up in an office. We were paying $500 a month, kind of down a little bit from our big store on the corner. The building was sold that we had kind of inherited, but it wasn't really our thing. It was something that we weren't really truly as a part of as we would have thought we would have been. And this whole thing ended up, it was all fate. It was all meant to be like a phoenix. We started over. And right before my best friend, my older brother, and my technically cousin Jordan Wachler died, he said to me, or he didn't say, I emulated everything he did. He says, Instagram. And I go, what is this? He's posting stuff on there. I mean, chains, his Cartier glasses, all this stuff. He's just showing off his cool stuff, connecting with people, having fun on there, really networking on there in 2011. And I emulated him. And he passed away, and all the dreams we had, I try to carry out. And Jordan, giving me Instagram during a time when our 100-year family business that should have just been going up, we started over, and we were down. The Instagram really started to grow. And being there really first, one of the first in the whole world, and you could go and check, it changed our trajectory. And with the relationships and the knowledge and my dad's ability to save and be ready for really anything, we took out a loan. We found a space. My dad knew the landlord from his 7th grade first kiss. They gave us a 15-year lease for $4,500 in downtown Birmingham. Or actually, it was like $3,900 and goes up $100. The new landlords are like, "Fuck, dude," you know. And I get to sit in downtown Birmingham for very low money, and that way I can take care of my customers. So what happened was a tragedy created a kind-hearted soul that worked his ass off, gave his kids everything, didn't work out, and I ended up sharing a desk with my grandfather, Jeff, for 8 years straight, and now I'm trying to, be like them.
That's awesome. So this is the part of business that I love talking about, because everybody sees the flash after you've made it. They don't understand what it takes to get to success. That word is a weird word.
Yeah, I get a lot of messages, must be nice, or daddy's money and stuff like that.
They think you're a 100-year-old company, and they don't see that. They don't see that stuff, and they do it here. They walk in here and they're like, "Man, it must be nice." And it's like, guys, you don't get what we got to go through here to do this. And but when these things happen, like when that happened, like you that wasn't what was supposed to happen, right? You were supposed to keep going and take the business. Well, now you hit this crazy roadblock. It puts you into a world spin, right, where you don't know what to do. And how long did it take for you and your family to be like, to turn it into a positive, like where you get out of the bitterness, or did you ever go down that road?
Are you ready for this? So in 1960, my late and great uncle Norman Wachler brought transcendental meditation to our family. He also brought these different concepts, which now we know is the law of attraction. Nightingale Conan, if you're listening to this and you want to make it big, listen to Nightingale. I'm not big, but you could be. Nightingale Conan, Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, Andrew Carnegie, the Self-Help Masters. There's actually Self-Help Classics, the app on your phone. But my dad, my uncles, my grandfather, my great uncle were always these they had tapes everywhere. They had books everywhere. It was always about your mind state, your mentality. So when everything happened, my dad, who, by the way, drove a Ford Explorer for 20 years, knew. And when I would go to school, they'd be like, "Don't you own a jewelry business in Birmingham? Why are you in an 18-year-old car?" That's just how we are, man, And my dad always taught me, look, save for a really bad rainy day. Every time something bad happens, meditate and use the law of attraction. So let's say we lost a lot of money, lost a lot of inventory, lost the real estate, ended up basically in a office literally smaller than your bathroom inside Jim Kroll's office above across from 220. And we're sitting there, and, my dad's attitude was, this is going to be great. We're going to figure this out. And I'm on eBay for the first time. I'm on Etsy for the first time. I'm on Instagram for the first time. We're selling little stuff here and there, nothing compared to what we were doing. And he'd be like, "That's great. You sold that watch on eBay? That's so cool." He's a positive guy. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He meditates twice a day for 40 years. He's just one of those people that's something bad happens. He could get flustered. He could get upset like anyone else can. But then he says, "I need to go in the back room and meditate." And he sits there for 20 minutes, tm.org. Check it out. Any meditation's good. Headspace app, 2-minute meditation. Don't make excuses. You can do it. Change your life today. But what I was going to say is, once you meditate, you raise your vibration, you connect to the universe, you plug into the ether of the universe, and you connect your mind, body, spirit to everything that is. And as long as you have a positive attitude, you're going to find a road. And you don't need a road, you need a step forward. And I'm going to tell you something. All the trials and tribulations I've had, and I'll talk about a few of them later, man, I'll tell you something. They can make you sick. My mom got the shingles. Somebody stole a 10-carat diamond from us. They were a jeweler. They're in big trouble right now. I won't mention their name, but it's all over the news. They put us through 6 months of stress. The diamond was on consignment. We basically would have had to sell our family home to pay our customer back, which we would have, and we did everything we could to collect from him. If you need help collecting, I know how to do it. But almost no one else got paid. We did, though. And shout out to my upbringing in Oak Park. We got that on down pat. But what I was going to say is the attitude which you get, right? You get the attitude that you approach these problems with determines if this is a blessing that you're going to thank God for later. Like, thank God this happened. We get to start fresh. We need to redesign everything, right? Get to redesign everything. Or you could say, fuck, that was horrible, and look where I'm at now. But it's up to you. Yeah. And it took us years to get to a positive, it took us years. So when someone comes in, they don't realize we're a decade in financially. We're not 100 years financially. We're a decade in. And if you own a business, you know that the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you might make money, but it takes a lot to run a business. So you might not even be really much further off. But as you get past that 10-year mark, it starts to change. But next thing you know, big challenge comes, could knock you on your ass. You might start over again, new challenge, right? So what is it? Is that a problem or is that an opportunity, right? So the whole point is, I'm to the point where I'm not even caring about those things. I'm just like, we have a challenge today. Let's do it. Let's go.
That's business.
Yeah.
You're going to have
fun.
a challenge every day.
It's a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport.
And we're pros.
It's a sport.
That's an
awesome.
incredible mindset. And how it's an amazing to think that somebody might not have that mindset and be on a path of success. I think you have to adopt some version of exactly what you said. That's incredible.
It's kind of like the entitlement concept of what's wrong with a lot of people in this new world. And it doesn't have to stay wrong. You're not stuck anyway. So if I'm judging you based on how you are, you could change, and I could be wrong about that, but about judging you wrongly, right? It's not good to judge, but I'll say people who have entitlement, why is this going wrong? Why me? Or, man, I've had so many challenges over and over and over and over again. You know what? Maybe God or the universe is trying to teach you something and you're not getting it. Or maybe you're supposed to be so hardened and strong from this that you can share it with other people, right? We don't really know why it's happening. The universe, my people who have died, who are above watching me, have been screaming at me about stuff. They're like, stop smoking weed, stop smoking weed, stop smoking weed. Stop drinking heavily. Do not indulge like that. You can't. You have to do this, this, and this. I see, I get messages and little signs, and when I don't listen, they show me in other ways. And then when I listen, they reward me. You have to listen. You have to be aware to listen to what the world is telling you, because you're going to have guides along the way, and sometimes the guides are people who you lost. At least that's what I believe.
Strong stuff, man. It's unbelievable.
To dismiss it as folly.
Yeah,
it's part of our world.
Yeah,
it has to be. You have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's a little scary sometimes. I've had some really crazy experiences where they're talking to me, and not to get too much into it, but there's been really ridiculous. I've had a sign. I'm like, is this a sign? And then another sign. I'm like, just to make sure, guys, was that a sign? and there was a third sign, and this was all within 10 minutes. And I don't know how long we have and what to talk about, but this was really a true sign. And I was asking for a sign, and of course, me being an asshole, I'm like, I need a sign that's a sign, and I need this as a confirmation that those two are signs. And I got everything I asked for, and after that happened, I was so emotional and grateful and so less hurt from their loss, the losses, that I was like, I'm done playing around. I love going to my friend's bar. Shout out to Shift. My best friend owns it. And all the other great places out there. But I was like, I need to have one drink and go. Next time I go to Shift, I'll have food and maybe a seltzer. And it's not because I can't do it, it's because I just had so many messages coming at me like, look, this chapter is not for that. This chapter is for like, enjoy your meal, connect with your people, and go home, because there's things I need to do, and it's not just for me. I got people that aren't here. I got to carry their plans too, and I will, and I do. So, that's what it is. When you lose people and you're like right hand, you got to keep that hand going. You can't, you don't just mourn people. You got to carry them.
Yeah. Special, man. Powerful stuff. Now, jewelry. I could talk on this forever.
Am I a jeweler or something?
No, but did you always want to? Obviously you grew up in it. I grew up in the hospitality business.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be doing weddings.
I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Shout out to Downriver.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. I'm half Downriver.
Yeah. So we've been down there 50 years, but it's I was supposed to do that, right? Yeah. On paper, you look at my family, I'm supposed to be, selling spaghetti right now. But
tough business and a great way to learn how you became who you are.
Best business.
You were hardened into the diamond you are from that business.
Yeah, best business, honestly. You take those lessons and you bring them to real estate, and it's how we're able to do what we do. But was this what you wanted growing up?
All right. So when I was a kid, I was making a lot of stop motion animation videos. In 6th grade, we had a casting in my friend's backyard for something called Gunda Live. It was a sketch comedy show based on SNL. I loved that kind of thing. My best friend Noah Baxt, we made a lot of videos. My other buddy Danny Mayer. There's stuff on YouTube of there was a mob movie called Conceited, where my friend's face is cut off. He's in the chair talking. I've been making that kind of stuff for a long time. And currently help my friend Paris with a movie that's out on Tubi, Watch the Mail Lady. It was shot at my house. And I'm working on a thriller, and I'm working on a documentary right now. My passion was always making videos. Berkeley High School asked us to make some videos to enforce this IDs that you had to use for security. Senioritis was an issue. We did videos. I have goofy rap videos that I did for the school to promote stuff. Making videos, writing content, writing scripts. I had a movie. I was 8th grade, we had boys versus girls, which was going to be a Spy Kids type of thing, but boys were one spy company and the girls were another. So we did a lot of different things, mostly comedy based. So when I was a high schooler and I had lost my way, I was a little bit into entrepreneurialism in ways that technically weren't legal at the time. And I had crazy stuff. People would not believe. People who I grew up with, they kind of know how I was. I was a good guy, but quite entrepreneurial, and we didn't need dispensaries back then. We were getting shipped in from Cali. We were doing all that stuff. I had Oakland County Task Force came and paid us a visit when I was a camp counselor. I was a multifaceted person. I was, camp counselor, nanny, selling this and that. I would teach tennis and sell weed at the same time. I was doing everything, but I didn't like to see my parents stress about money for 1 second, and they were fine, but I still didn't. I want to make sure we were always good and that I was self-sustainable. So when I was 18, I was getting ready to go to college, pretty carefree. All my friends were going. And that's when the stuff with the family business kind of started to happen. And I saw my parents kind of dealing with some stuff, and my grandfather and my uncle dealing with some stuff. And I'm not going to get into all the details, but at that time, I kind of made a choice. My dad's a nice guy, really sweet, best man ever. He's like, David, go off to college, do your thing, We had money for you, now you have to take a loan, but it's no big deal. Everyone takes a loan. I said, you know what? I'm not really interested in taking money out unless I'm flipping it, I don't have to double it. I just need something has to come back, That's how I've been. I said, I'm not going away to school. I'm not going to take a loan so I can go be with the other friends of mine and have that experience. I don't need that experience. I've been partying like I was in college since I was 13 years old. I used to 13, 14. I was buying alcohol, watering it down in water bottles. I'd take a $20 bottle and sell 40 bottles for 10. I took a regular ounce, made 40 brownies, get 400 back off a $60 brickweed ounce. AZ Bose. You don't believe this. I was a kid doing this stuff. So phones, don't get me started about the phones. Anybody, I'm just telling you, this is nothing new to me. And the thing was, I joined my family and I said, I got you guys. And now, not to say my dad wasn't the boss and wasn't the leader and wasn't the guy who handles the money and wasn't the guy who saved for the rainy day, and the rainy day came and we were able to get through everything because of my dad. My dad did everything. It's just that I was, with him, and not being this is not my responsibility. It's this is our thing. We got to make sure we're good. And so all that stuff went away for me, all the videos and the movies and stuff. And interestingly enough, at my bar mitzvah and at Jordan and Dustin's bar mitzvah, my cousins, there was a gentleman named Paris Jones who was our MC, really cool guy from Star Trek. I had a bar mitzvah themed David's movie night because I love to make movies. And a year ago, he calls me and says, or he put on Facebook, I need a house for, actually, he was in the hospital 3 years ago with really bad illness. For some reason, I went there with my meditation teacher, Phyllis. Follow Meditation Phyllis on Instagram. Go get a meditation session. She's amazing. I said, Paris, I'm coming down to see you at the hospital. We're going to bring you meditation. I got some green juice. I got some wheatgrass and sprouts. I got some elderberry, and I got some medicinal mushrooms I want to bring you. You know, lion's mane, reishi, and chaga. And I pull up and I said, David, I haven't talked to you since you were 13 years old. You know, what the fuck are you doing here almost? I said, well, you made my bar mitzvah a really special night, and I'll never forget it, and I want to be there for you, which is like, you know, I thought it was normal. And after that, he like posted on Facebook, like we stayed in touch. I'm like, Paris, I always wanted to be into movies. He's like, yeah, I know. You had David's movie night. There was fucking movie things everywhere at your party. And I was like, yeah, I lost my way. I got into this, you know, this jewelry business, and I used the videos to connect and the pictures to connect, but that's not really what I meant to do. And so he posted on Instagram looking for a suburban house for a movie. I called him. I said, can we make this movie at my house? So I got to watch him make this movie in 7 days. There's still fake blood above my bed on the roof, my ceiling, and in my office. And it's okay, Paris. But it's called The Mail Lady. And it was nothing to do with me. I have the producer credit from just having the house there, which is nothing. But I got to watch it. After that was a year ago, saw the movie come out. I go, something clicked. Called my best friend, Mike Makowitz, ARISP IT Solutions. And I said, hey, you still got 80 hours of that documentary about that boxer from Detroit, you know, who the story is he actually got in a car accident, forgot who he was. He was homeless for 2 years. He was beating everybody up on the street when they would fight him, and they figured out who he was. And he says, yeah, I got the documentary. I go, is Ernie still around? He's, thank God. Yes, he is. I said, well, I got a team that can make a movie, and you have a movie. So that's one. And then I have a thriller I want to do with a positive ending. So, and I have my podcast, Dropping Gems, that's coming out. First episode's coming with Doug Schwartz from Detroit Wick and Trip Wipes and One Room Hotel. So basically what happened to me was the gentleman who helped me become a man, bar mitzvah, a boy becomes a man, during a movie theme, got sick. I gave him a tiny bit of love because I love him. He's an amazing guy. Paris Jones, he spreads light to our entire community. He basically is one of those people who has touched thousands of families on important moments. He's a person who deserves everyone to like give him a hug. He's the man, and he's positive. Another day, another blessing. That's his story right now. I can guarantee it. And he helped me get back into what I love, and hopefully we can work together. But the point is that's what I like to do. And jewelry I like because of the people. I like helping people, but it's not my first love, but my family's my first love. You know, my customers, my friends are my love, so it's like it's easy. I don't suffer through it. I love to do it, but you'll see. There will be some movies that come out. You'll see the Rolls Royce pull up. They'll say, "Man, he sold a lot of rings." I said, "I'm in an 11-year-old truck that there's so much wrong in it and outside of it and in the engine that the you know, it's like hard to call it a Porsche. It's like a Porsche." But you'll see the Rolls Royce when the movies come, because I you know what I can't do? My grandfather used to say, David, profit's not a dirty word. I said, he'd see my sales. He'd go, you sold a $100,000 diamond and this is what you made? And they'd say, David, it's great that you have these customers, but normally we don't do that. And it's not like he wanted to make much more, right? But in our business, there's a certain margin you have to make to survive. I don't really respond to metrics like that. I just go like, this guy's got a budget. I can squeeze it in there. He's gonna post it. Or he's gonna be happy. He's my boy. I can't think of money that way. So that's how I know the movies are my calling, because movies, you make a nice movie, you make a lot of money, and no one's getting, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no one's getting hurt from it. I can't look you in the eye, sell you something, make a lot of money, and feel good. I can make a little money and feel good, and you'll feel good, but I can't, like they say, you're going to get waxed and taxed. You go to David in Birmingham. Let me tell you something. You're getting waxed and taxed wherever you go most of the time. You come over here, you'd be shot. you'd be shocked.
We deal with that with agents. Brokerages are a dime a dozen. And, I feel the same way. I work with these agents all day. I care about these guys. You want to see them do well.
Right.
And your margins in the brokerage business are like
Tiny,
this, because
bro.
down the street, if you literally the next day they'll leave. They'll do a favor for someone. The next day they'll go down the block, cross over to the other side of Woodward and go to one of those brokerages, and for $500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Over the course of you make $300,000. We're negotiating over $500. So you have this mindset of like you gotta little margins because you're there. You're looking them in the face.
Yep.
It's a
When you look someone in the eye and you're doing business with them, if something in your heart doesn't feel like you're doing right by them, and you're a certain type of individual, which I'd say hopefully most people are this way. It's like really like there's been times when I was young, I would make like what I was supposed to make on something, and I would go back and I'd call them and say, hey, I thought my cost would be here. Something would come in. It would cost me $300-$400 less than I thought. I'd call, look, I can do it a little better for you. They didn't ask me, but I couldn't David, thank you so much. Post this, post that. I would feel like a dirty person, and it's not normal or good for what I do to do that. It's not. I mean, look, literally, I want the nice cars, I want the bigger house. I could have had it. All the sales I made, if I would have added 5% to every sale, I would have had the biggest house in Michigan. I mean, how many things I sold is unbelievable, but I can't do it for some reason, and I don't know what's wrong with me. But that's how I know, I'm probably not supposed to be in sales forever. I'm probably supposed to have people selling for me. I'm probably supposed to upgrade the store to be more like a Cartier boutique, not crazy expensive, but the same concept. And I'm supposed to be probably doing a couple other things. Yeah. Charity stuff. Shout out to the Diana Rasha Foundation, I'm on the board of. Miss my friend Diana every single day. She was basically a saint on this earth, and we want to spread love, joy, and generosity on behalf of Diana and the foundation.
That's awesome. Wherever we can help with that, we're in. So
yeah, thank you. We're going to be following up on that one, that's for sure.
Sure. Can you? There's all different types. So when you talk jewelry, I've met people that make jewelry. They're mostly doing diamonds. They're doing watches. They're doing all these different things. You sound like a creative guy.
Yeah.
Can you be creative in jewelry?
Well, you can be very creative, but the funny part is I have books of things that I want to do when I upgrade my store and do my boutique, designs, products, all this stuff. My problem is, and I think you guys probably understand this, and I think anyone listening to this and any business understands this, is you have your own creativity, but then the day starts. And other people, the nature of business is other people are asking you for a house, they're asking you for a ring, they're asking you for a watch, they're asking you for earrings. You may say, look, I have these products I want to create, I want to design them, I want to manufacture them. I have these things kind of in motion, and then I call my factory, I make everything in LA, and I say, hey, I just submitted, in a given day, 4 more custom rings. That's a slow day. Then it's Saturday comes, 7 to 10 people could come see me on Saturday. And then on Monday, I'm like, hey, I know you just started those 4 rings, and I know you had 20 in the cooker, but I got another 10 things. I got a pendant, I got this, I got that. Next thing you know, tennis bracelet, emerald cut, this and that. At a certain point, the reason why I haven't, my friend goes, David, you got to make those products. You got to scale. You have the name. You have the audience. You should do this. I'm like, yeah, but if I take my attention off of these, it's at any given time, 40 to 50 products, at any given time that I'm working on, and every day there's more. And then a lot of my customers are out of town, and they work with these satellite offices that I developed, which we can talk about, which could work for a lot of businesses. But long story short, I don't feel right getting into that because I'm like, look, if I start working on that properly, which I will, but when I'm ready, and I'm going to try to align it with the upgrade of the building, which is this spring and summer, which my landlords are doing, by the way. I can't focus on making sure everyone's stuff is right. And if you guys come into our store, I'd love to have you in the store for 2 hours. I'll feed you. We'll promote you guys. You should see on a Saturday, it's like a liquor store on New Year's Eve. I don't really have much. I get home, I got my girlfriend, she's like, you want to make dinner? I got to respond to 100 things for a second. You know how it is. It's there's only so much you can do. And so I'm kind of in a place right now where I'm like, expanding the team, expanding what we can do, expanding the manufacturing. But the orders are coming in, and it's not really possible to do much more than just keeping up. But I have to scale and grow and figure those solutions out. But it's growing, man. And so it's hard to, like, I have a design, Ice by the Link. You buy a Cuban, you ice out one link at a time. It's going to be silver, it's going to be gold. There's going to be a whole website for it. I can't wait for it. But every time I go to work on it, I'm like, shit, I have 50 people waiting for me to respond to them about selling their diamond, selling their watch, buying a watch. You're talking about millions of dollars worth of business that's like in the DM requests. And I can't leave them hanging. I got to feed my team. I got a lot of people.
How hard is it I have family members who are in jewelry, and you trust nobody, right? They were the only ones that kind of worked it, and it was hard,
I see. Yeah.
But like, is that a tough thing to scale with people and trust?
So shout out to Ted and Taylor.
Small items.
We went to Norup Middle School in Oak Park and Berkeley High School, and I met Ted and Taylor through that. So Ted and Taylor are like my team, my first part of my team, and I went to high school with them. I knew them forever. I knew Ted's brother since I was a kid. I knew Ted since I was a kid. I knew Taylor since I was in probably 8th, 9th grade. Spent a lot of time in Taylor's parents' garage. I mean, like, that's like my people. So, and she's technically like a distant cousin. So the first two people that are on my team are my friends from high school. So they didn't know anything about jewelry. I hired them because they're like my people. So the trust came from my friends. The other person on my team, shout out to Selena, Laser by Selena. She also is a laser tech. She worked for Diana next door. May she rest in peace. And so I hired her from knowing her from the other store. And she's a great girl, and I know she's trustworthy. But the people I hire are just people I've known for a long time. I hired my best friend, Noah Bax. He's in marketing at Rebuild Group. I hired Mike Mackowitz, my best friend. He's got his own company now, Air ISP. The people Brad Selman, he was my best friend from high school. The only people I've hired are like, so when I go like, I'm hiring, you got to look at the post. It's like, must know me for 10 years. Must have grown up in the neighborhood. I need to know where your whole family lives. But, I need to like know what matters to you the most in your life. I need to know like, what do I have on you? But tell me your darkest secret. You know what I'm saying? Where's your grandma live? The people I hire are just like great people that I know are great people, and what they like, their skill set comes in like, they're like, we're great people. We want to work, but we're not jewelers. I'm like, don't worry. If you could sell anything, or if you can just help me. And Ted, man, Taylor, these guys, they crush it, and I hope they stay for a long time. If they don't, I still love them, but I want them to. Everyone who works for me, I hope they stay a long time. They're great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
50. You guys are servicing a lot of the whole country. How does that work?
So let me tell you a secret. But it's not going to be a secret after this. So on Instagram, if you're a business with
we only have like 2 or 3 people watch it, so it's not no big deal.
So on Instagram, I get people in like New York, LA, Chicago. I started dealing with like the Chicago Bears first. That was like the first team that really like supported us. I had a gentleman, shout out to Zach Miller. He's a tight end for Chicago. Found him on Instagram, or he found me, or I don't know how it happened. And he got a horrible injury, and he took it great. He recovered great. He's really just a story of inspiration. He's a family man, great guy. But when he got injured, that was like my only guy in the league that I dealt with. And he was laid up for a while, and he was like, "Hey man, you did my jewelry. I always will rock with you. We're boys. Like, we became friends. I'll make sure my team rocks with you too." So I started going out to across from the Bean. There was an office that my friend had. 95-year-old guy, Holocaust survivor. He pretty much invented the radiant cut, which is partially why I have the radiant cut on my hat, because it was a story of rebirth and support from others, and really beautiful stuff, and his whole journey too. And I just started meeting all these guys from the Bears at this office downtown. Then I started going to their house. One time they needed a gift like delivered for Christmas, and it was snowy, and I was playing Call of Duty. I'm like, fuck, I can't ship this in time. It's not going to make it for Christmas. The guy on Call of Duty was like, fuck it, I got a truck. I'll drive it. My boy from like 8th grade, like 9th grade, 10th grade, like we used to shoot hoops and stuff, and go to like Metro Beach and play volleyball and meet like girls from different towns and stuff. And I'm like, what can I hire you? And I paid him a bunch of money, and he just drove it there. Like, we'll do whatever it takes. But when my guys got traded, or no, my one buddy, Bobby Massey, he invited me to his wedding. Shout out to Bobby and Angel, amazing people. Really, their story is just manifestation of all kinds. Angel has a great podcast too. But that first team that I worked with, I kind of learned, like, these guys want somebody to trust. I want somebody who trusts me, and I want to do right by them. And so it kind of expanded into other people, and we got a lot of guys from the Lions and this and that. And now my boy, shout out to Shelby Miller, new player for the Tigers. That's my boy, been rocking with him for a long time. So we expanded a lot. But what I realized was, if I call my dealers in those towns and I can't make it, and I say, hey, I got a friend, whether it's a guy who plays in the league or it's a friend from, I didn't go to college, but a friend from camp, they're living in New York, they're living in LA, they're living in Dallas, random person from Instagram, okay? I say, where are you? You say you're downtown Dallas? I call my people in Dallas. I say, they're diamond people. They're manufacturers. They have U.S. offices here. I say, can I send a customer in, and can I sit on FaceTime? Can you physically show them the diamond, but I'll be on the screen? That has turned into a bigger business even than probably my Birmingham store. Wow. Because I got people in Florida. I went to Florida for a week. Somebody drove like an hour and a half to hang out with me, hour and a half here and back. They're like, oh, we wouldn't miss. I said, we've only talked on, we met one time. We have an exchange in Florida, Aventura Exchange, that we work out of. But I got a friend in every city and state. You're in San Fran, my cousin goes and sees you. You're in Tampa, I got a cousin there too. You're in New York, I got 25 offices. You're in LA. These people are my best friends in this industry, right? It's like summer camp, it's like, church group. So if you're in a different city, you want to ring, you don't want to pay retail, I'm there, man. I might not physically be there, but my head's on the screen. Yeah. So what am I paying in rent? Nothing. So if you're a business, maybe connect with your competitor in that state. Maybe see if there's a competitor you can trust to refer to or to work with, because I don't know. I think people come to you for a certain standard, right? They come to DOBI for a certain standard. They're in a different state that you're not licensed in. You might have a buddy who keeps that same standard. Whether or not you get taken care of financially, the customer relationship that you take care of, that might be worth it. Yeah.
That's important. You see it a lot in commercial real estate. Yeah. Like you have you guys here who in all states doing business all over the country. They find a broker of record to help them. They're involved. Residential, I don't know why it's a lot harder. We do a lot of referrals and stuff like that, but they're not as open-minded to it as commercial. Yeah. But it's the same industry. I always question that. But it's a network.
You know what we need? We need like a big dodgeball tournament. All the brokerages. Yeah. Let me just tell you.
This guy had a Nerf league that he put together.
Did you really? So you guys got to come to Wachler Diamonds Tennis League. It's in the summertime. It's once a week, Wednesday nights. I invite my clients. Other jewelers. Shout out to Wilson was there. Armand Durakshian was there. Big time people come there. Chris Smokes pulled up one time. You got like all my boys. And I tell people, come to the tennis league. Come have some fun. Network. When you get this hat that I give you, go wear it places. People are going to be like, oh, Dave? Maybe he's a realtor. Maybe you do mortgages. The hats are created to create a networking group so that I can help my clients. Same with my podcast. I'm showcasing my clients, the jewelry they got from me, and what they do. I'm tired of taking everybody's money. I feel awkward. How many customers are going to get? I can't take all the customers. I want to give you guys as customers exposure. That's great. So, and what you do for the people who work here, and the environment that you've created, that you guys have all created here, it's pretty cool. And it kind of reminds me of what I'll make my store in the future. And we have the same concept. I have a lot of outside partners. Like shout out to Enmar Tomi, Tomi Diamonds and Jewelry. Shout out to Sal, Maroney. What we have going on is, if you're a jeweler and you don't have a home base and you have a clientele and you want top quality and you want to buy your diamonds from site holders, which we know they come right from the mine or the grower, depending on the diamond you're dealing in. We work with really cool people to be their DOBI. And we have right now, shout out to our partner Lily, shout out to partner Enmar, shout out to partner Sal. We have three, shout out to Caroline, where I think we have 4 people that have entire jewelry businesses that are supported by us on the back end, but they use our store and our factory as theirs. And it's not like we're selling to them. They're getting from our sources. We go to the shows together. They have their own business, but we kind of work together because we kind of agree on how we want to grow. We want to help other people grow, right?
You mentioned diamonds are mined.
Yeah.
Diamonds are grown in a lab now.
2 types now.
So what trends are you seeing in,
boy.
among customers, among clients?
Changes.
Oh.
Play if we were allowed to, you got to start, whoa. See some changes. I wake up in the morning and I ask myself, are these diamonds really different? So lab-grown diamonds. Okay, so there's some positives. There's some negatives. Same with natural. Personally, I grew up in the diamond business. My friends, are you wouldn't believe who I know in the diamond manufacturing world. It's amazing to me. I'm humbled when I'm with them. I'm like, you guys are the goats. I'm like happy to be sitting down with you. They're like, David, my boy. I know the people who supply the biggest brands in the world. They mine it, they manufacture it. I mean, it's big. So I always want to push, that I support natural diamonds first and foremost. However, I do believe that everyone should feel dignified in their rings and jewelry. I think that diamonds are sentimental. And I think that when you talk about love and you talk about relationships, sometimes one of our partners in our relationship wants something and our other partner can't necessarily afford the natural option. And what happens with lab grown is it changes that. So let's say with natural diamonds, you want a 3 carat, so it's 25 to 50 grand. And let's say your significant other has always dreamed of having a 3 carat. It's been on their vision board since they were a little kid. And when your boyfriend or girlfriend says, my budget's 5 grand, and your friends all have, 2.5, 3 carats, and your boyfriend says, it's just not possible. I'm sorry. That was how it used to be. Now you can get a 3 carat in a ring for 5 grand. It's GIA certified. It's IGI certified. Either way, it's the same different qualities that natural have. So my take on it is that I do like that instead of the person being like kind of feeling bad about their ring or not feeling like they got what they wanted, and then every day going to events and family dinners and being like, this person, he makes, 300 grand a year and they have the diamond I always wanted, but my husband works his ass off as a teacher and he can't afford what I want. Can't have the car, can't have the house, can't have the vacation house, can't even go on the vacations we want because we're teachers. We help change the world, but we can't afford it. Those guys now can get whatever the hell they want with lab grown. So for me as somebody, if you heard a little bit about my story, you can kind of tell what I really care about. I think it's great that people can get whatever they want. I just made a ring for somebody for a very low amount. I won't say what, but very low. And it looks great. And so I know that some of my friends in the industry be like, fuck you, David. Why are you selling this stuff? You're cannibalizing our industry. And I'd say, look, most of my dealers are like, lab's great. All these people who normally wouldn't even buy these things are getting diamonds, and diamonds are more popular than ever, right? So majority of my friends in the industry are like, look, we're not going to deal in it. That's not what we do. But I like the idea that my friends that I grew up with who would normally be like, I'm not going to waste your time. Like I used to have it all the time. I'm like, why didn't you call me for your ring, dude? I've known you for 20 years. I would love to help you. Well, I don't want to waste your time. I saw you did this big ring and that big ring. I go, first of all, when it comes to natural diamonds, you want to go to someone you know. But second of all, now there's a new option. If that's what you guys want, I'll help you with it. So I'd say it's definitely rising in the industry. I think it brings a lot of dignity to people in what they get. I think if we could all have mansions and pools and in a perfect world everyone would have everything and we'd all be good. But that didn't work in communism. So that's just an ideal that will never happen. But when it comes to those little things, if it makes your wife or husband happy, then great. But there's one caveat. The resale value on all diamonds are going to be dependent on the ratio, the way the stone's cut, the quality. And in lab-grown diamonds, I just tell my customers, look, do not come back and try to trade this up. Do not think you're going to sell it later. You can sell it, but it's not going to be very much. You didn't pay very much in the first place, so that's okay. But what's sad is some jewelers charge a hell of a lot for them because people just don't know, and then it doesn't work out, and they go to sell it, and they go, "Why did I pay so much?" I go, "I don't know. Why didn't you come here?" So you have to realize it's the look, it's technically the chemical composition, but it doesn't have the same value. But if it makes you guys happy, you guys can come to me for it. I'll do it, and I won't tell people what you got. Somebody texts me all the time, "How much was this ring?" And I'm seeing it's like they follow the other person. I'm like, I'm not telling you. You come in here. I'll show you some diamonds.
See, you hold a lot of secrets. You probably know a lot of people getting engaged on Valentine's Day.
I see those.
Yeah.
I got a lot of secrets. I've sold many people rings many times to different partners.
You're on a podcast and you're not spilling all the secrets about everybody. It shows trustworthiness. And
I love my people.
And you can tell from talking with you, that is your focus. Yeah. All the shout outs that you give, you're not a self-centered person. You care about other people.
I'm only here because of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would be nothing without other people.
So I was in a retail business. This makes me, when you ask that question, I was in a retail business prior to, another life. It feels like another life. And it was a gift baskets. And Valentine's Day was our biggest day of the year. And they were perishable. It was fruit, so you had to sell this stuff quickly, or else it went bad. And funny story, talk about secrets. I had this gentleman come in, buy 2 baskets, one for his wife, one for his girlfriend, okay? And we had the worst snowstorm of the year. All our trucks are stuck in the expressways, loaded with fruit that is going bad. Can't get it we had hundreds, 1,000 baskets between 3 locations. We had to get all across Metro Detroit. And half of them didn't get there. Okay, it was miserable. It was one of the worst days of my life. And,
I'm sure your heart was going crazy.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. But funny story. This gentleman calls me and he's going crazy on me. He's like, "How did my baskets not get there? You ruined Valentine's Day." And I said, "You know what? All right, listen. We have 2 options." I said, "I can either make you some new ones. Okay, I can either make you some new ones and I'll get them out today. And they'll be beautiful, and you don't have to pay for new ones. That was my fault, and we're going to take the hit on that. Or I can refund you your money, or I can make you brand new ones and send them to the wrong houses by accident." He goes, "Man, do your thing. Get them out. Make sure everything's good. Don't mix up those baskets." But it was funny about secrets. These people.
You basically told them. You basically said, "Watch your tone, buddy," because I got the power now.
I said, "Bro, I'm gonna mix these baskets up.
Yeah, you better calm down.
Your life hell. Okay?
Yeah.
You think I wanted that snowstorm?" But
you're a cold cat.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I know we've been talking for a while, and you got a lot. You're a busy man. So, John, you want to? We could talk. I could talk to you all day, bro. Your stories are amazing. Your energy is amazing. I could tell that you're super into reading and the stuff you're talking about is. I wasn't that way growing up, but since starting a business, I've really gotten into a lot of things like meditation. Growing up, we didn't talk about meditation, right? Now we do these things, and listening to you talk and the way you deliver your story it's pretty amazing. So we can talk forever, but Johnny, let's wrap it up.
Friendship was even built just in a short amount of time, and I think that a lot of people that meet you would feel that way as well. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. A couple things to tie it in. You talked about movies.
Yes.
You talked about diamonds.
Yes.
What's your favorite diamond movie?
The one we're gonna make.
All right.
So Uncut Gems. Let me just tear it up for a second. An opal is the premise of Uncut Gems. Okay, this has to be a clip. Dusty, you know what to do. Uncut Gems review. Go. See, in Uncut Gems, it frustrates me really bad. It makes me upset, and I'm getting mad. Damn it, man. Damn. Uncut Gems. Oh. Okay, so why I'm so mad is that. The industry is a great industry. There's a spirit of helping each other. I mean, you wouldn't believe, I can call competitors right now and be like, "I need a ruby necklace for Valentine's Day. I'm coming to grab it out of your showcase." He'll say, "Go ahead, take it." I mean, we work together. Most jewelers work together. In Uncut Gems, the whole premise of the movie was not only cutthroat, really bad energy, bullshit stuff, really bad stuff, but, and there's some bad eggs, but not too many. the whole movie was based on an opal, and an opal is a gemstone that doesn't have the value of like a ruby, diamond, or emerald. If I was a part of Uncut Gems, I would have said, guys, you're making $100 million budget movie, and the main thing that the story is based on is a low value. It's like having a tanzanite, or it's like having a white topaz. Just like, it's beautiful, but it's not like a diamond or an emerald or a ruby, this big opal. Kevin Garnett had that opal, right? The whole movie's about that. So it bothered me that we're showing the public something about the industry. At least put a diamond or a ruby or an emerald or a sapphire. So when that happened, I said to my buddy Andre, and I said to Paris too, from Paris Films, I said, guys, they missed this. We got to go and work on this. We gotta talk about. And I thought that a great movie premise, that if someone wants to steal it, but we'll get it done anyways. Because, lab-grown diamonds have been abused. There are many jewelers, and they're all over the world. I won't say exactly where, because last time I got in big trouble. But they do mix diamonds, and they don't tell the customer. And whether they do it by accident or they do it on purpose, I don't really care. It shouldn't happen. And so I thought about a story where there was a guy scammed in New York, where a group from overseas bought $50 million, then they bought $100 million, they bought $200 million worth of natural diamonds, and on the third buy for another $100 million, they said, we've sent you all this money, we took the goods, you send the goods, I'm a little busy, I'm going to send the money when I get the package. And that last $100 million was taken. It might have been even more. But there's a lot of times when people do screw people over. And I thought it would be an interesting premise for a movie where somebody makes a lab-grown copy of a very famous diamond, and maybe there's like an Ocean's 11 feel to it or something along those lines, where they switch very, very valuable diamonds in some vault somewhere with lab, and something along that lines or something else. But I think there's not a diamond movie out there that I think represents, like, jewelers go long extra miles for people. They get beat up. They like realtors, they get harassed, kind of. You get calls at 11:30 at night. They think because they're spending $40,000 with you, or $10,000 or $1,000 that they own you or whatever. So jewelers will like work their tail off for their customers. Just like a realtor, they just hard workers, try to keep their head up. They're still going to get bad rap sometimes, and
they give you a check for $100,000.
They think you made
and they think you made $100,000.
Yeah, and I made $5. But basically, the point is, we need a movie that shows like the true spirit of family business, the true struggles that people go through, the generosity that happens, but also the emerging lab-grown versus natural market. I think we need something about how they really are the same chemical composition and look the same. There's a special tester that can tell the difference, but to the naked eye, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for 99.9% of people on Earth. And I think that there should be a movie made about that. So I'm going to say that Wachler Entertainment, which we just incorporated, and whoever else works with me on it is going to do that. And whether or not it happens, I sure hope it does, because I talked about it. But I'm gonna put a lot of effort into getting into that industry, because man, we need some. Have you guys seen a movie lately? We need the old school back.
We need old school.
Yeah.
There's nothing
it's
good.
bad out here, bro.
They're even like great, like Napoleon, great story, not a great movie.
Yeah. Have you seen Lincoln? I walked out of Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln was terrible.
I actually got up, and there was a speech in Lincoln. Did you see it? The guy's like, I can't take Lincoln in his speeches. I stood up in the Birmingham theater, and I go, as the guy's like, I don't want to hear another Lincoln speeches. I stood up, I go, I can't take it anymore either, and I left. And I'm going to tell you, I love Abraham Lincoln. I love a lot of things he did. Some of the things weren't so great, but if he was a champion, when he was a champion for people who were oppressed, I thought that was great. But he wasn't a perfect guy. But I couldn't take that fucking movie. It's like, what the hell? Goodfellas, Casino, Sopranos, even things like just old movies, Parent Trap, Mean Girls. There's a lot of good movies out there. What the hell happened?
I know, with kids now.
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
Nothing new with kids.
Is it possible that it's just all been done? Like, you can't recreate Home Alone, right? I mean, think about that. Like that.
I think it's technology. I think that when you have too much technology and you have people who value it too much, and they forget about what's the value of a story and the value of production and how you should feel. I'm going to tell you, like, one time I accidentally ordered Spy Kids when I was sick, like 30, 40 times on like on demand with like an old remote when I was a kid. I watched that show, like I might have watched Spy Kids when I was like 10, like 25 times. That flu lasted a while, and like Ellen in between, and Jerry and Maury, and like Sopranos on AMC during the day, which was when I first started like doing bad things. But you know, like a kid, like I used to loan money when I was a kid at Berkeley High School. I had a book, and I got in trouble for it, but I'm like, it's Hebrew free loans. Like I'm not collecting interest. But one time, like there was times when like there were some people who owed me money, and I had a lot of friends. I used to like help people with their relationships and talk to them about their life, and they were tough guys. And you know, I'd get robbed for things, and we'd go back and get it back, and I'd stand behind my very, very strong friends, and they'd be getting my stuff back and explaining to these guys why they should pay me or give me my stuff back. And I told them, I said, hey man, we can be friends after this, but just so you know, if you take something from me, we're gonna come get you. And that's how I was when I was a kid. So
That's great. That's great.
The way we end every podcast is, what's your death row meal?
You a foodie? You're a movie guy.
Yeah,
but
I cook every day too.
Yeah.
Got my cast iron. I got to clean it out so I can cook again tonight. My death row meal. Honestly, my family used to go to a place called Peking House a lot, and that was when everyone was still alive. Like all my favorite people, my best friends. You know, I lost quite a few of them, and we used to have these awesome family parties. And it was like General Chow's chicken, balamaki, coconut, you know, shrimp, all these different things. And I think that if I was going to eat a last meal, I would eat the meal that I last ate with like all my favorite people alive. But if I was going to say something to plug a friend or family business, I would say, let's see, I'd say like something from Commonwealth, something from, you know, Vinny's Brunch, shout out to Lon, something from, you know, I would like rattle off like 10 businesses, like DOBI's got a lot of followers, let's like shout out all my friends. You know, In Season Cafe, it closed down, I love that place. Cacao Tree, healthy something, I don't know. But General Chow's chicken, and I hope that, you know, it would be with my whole fam. But I'm not going to be on death row because I don't align with the values that would get me there. But
just your mean goon friends might, right?
That was a long time ago. And I have since learned that karma will always punish you, even if you try to. I used to try to enforce karma, and I know that that's not my job. So when I drive by like my old, like I guess you call it ops, I drive by their office, the ops, and you know what I did? I was driving by with my dad. We were going to get some food. I drive by this office, and the guy really ran me through the mud, did a lot of things I didn't like, things that were unfair, things that were mean. You know what I did? I said, may God bless and protect you. I hope everything's well with you and your family. I hope you heal and find a way to be nice to people. Because I learned that when you go and enforce karma, even though it's probably good to do it sometimes, like in your mind, right? You think like, this guy isn't coming and you're doing the right thing or whatever. Karma's going to come back and be like, hey, that was true, but now we're going to enforce you to say, you don't work for us. You don't work for karma. You have to just turn the other cheek. And my dad's favorite person is Gandhi. And one time we were in a position where we could have fought in something and we could have won so much and we could have really had a start that would have been quite nice. And I said, why don't we do it? Look at the people advising us. Said we could just win this and we could start off on a great note, right? And he says, that's not how we roll, David. We're gonna start over. I said, are you nuts? They're telling us right here we're guaranteed all this. And he goes, no, that's not what we do. We turn the other cheek. I go. But now I understand it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Well, David,
thanks for having me on, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and it means a lot. And I love meeting new people and hearing their stories, where they come from. That's really, Giants really came from just people who are mastering what they do and not even their business, but as a person. And it sounds like you're doing that every day, which is awesome. Yeah. So I love this, and every time we get done with one, we say that was the best one, right?
I thought coming in today, never meeting you before, saying there's no way it could be as good as last time or the one before. And every single time, we just must love doing it.
Yeah,
This
no,
is-
it's
You,
great.
you guys are really,
good.
I want to say you guys are awesome at it.
Appreciate it.
And I'm
bro.
learning from you guys, seriously.
Appreciate it, David. I'm looking forward to coming into your store. I
Thank
walk
you.
by it all the time, so I'm going to
appreciate
come in and say hi.
Okay, I just want to say where my store is.
Yes.
Because there's 2 Wachlers in Birmingham. We are separate businesses, same blood. I'm next to Comerica, Crate and Barrel 2, next to the candle store Urban Wick and Viga's Tailoring, if you need a great tailor. And so if you're standing in like Sweet Green, you look across the street, Lacido Jewelry is like on one end across the street, Lululemon's on the other end. So I'm like in between like Lacido and Lululemon. Shout out to my boys at Lacido, great people. And that's where I'm at, so all day.
We'll be there. We appreciate
Come
it, David.
through.
Thank you.
All
We
right.
will. Thank
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Very
thanks
cool.
for having us.
you. John?
David, thanks so much for sitting down to chat with us today.
Thank you.
For more episodes of Giants, follow DOBI Real Estate on social at wearedobi.com, and we'll see you next time.